there, Karen O'Connor of SingWise.com here. In my first video in this series of Twang, I explained what Twang is, I listed its many benefits, and then I offered you some exercises that you can use to start developing this coordination and building this quality into your own sound. If you have not viewed that video, or if you've forgotten what I talked about, please feel free to pause this one now and go back and review that one so that what we talk about today is going to make a lot more sense to you. In today's video, I'm going to talk about how to go about actively applying those experimental training sounds that we've been working on through those exercises to the songs that we're singing. Nearly all of the song examples that I'm going to be using today are going to be pulled from the musical theater genre, and I have a couple good reasons for doing so. In addition to the fact that musical theater just represents a lot of what I'm singing these days, so I'm just very familiar with the songs of the genre, musical theater also tends to lend itself particularly well to twang. It's very easily identified by the listener. As I mentioned before, twang is actually often associated with musical theater. However, it's also a component in many other styles of singing. For example, we can hear varying degrees of twang in songs such as Tina Turner's Proud Mary, Anastasia's Paid My Dues, Stevie Wonder's Superstition, especially as it's covered by Fantasia, Diana Ross's I'm Comin' Out, Amy Winehouse's Valerie and her cover of Someone to Watch Over Me, and Chaka Khan has this like guitar string kind of twang in Tell Me Something Good. I'll actually assign musical theater pieces to some of my students, even if it's not their cup of tea, their preferred genre. Not because I'm biased and I want them to love what I love. I actually enjoy a wide variety of styles of singing, and especially alternative rock. But again, because musical theater lends itself so well to twang, that allows them to readily identify it when they hear it, and to hear it effectively applied, and then also so they can have a little bit of fun with it. I'll also assign some musical theater pieces to my students who have overly darkened tones, tones that are kind of dull and lackluster because they lack the higher overtones, and also to those who have poor diction. For the females, I might assign something like Popular from Wicked, or Right Hand Man from Something Rotten. I am stronger than you think, don't be thinking I ain't tough. I am where you wanna go when the going's getting rough. So when things are going badly. For the males, I might assign something like Turn It Off from the Book of Mormon, and I promise I mean no offense to anyone here. So you say you've got a problem? Well, that's no problem. It's super easy not to feel that way. When you start to get confused because of thoughts in your head, don't feel those feelings. Hold them in instead and turn it off like a light switch. Just go click. It's a cool little Mormon trick. Today I'm going to walk you through some of the ways in which I approach incorporating twang quality into my own singing. I don't have a lot of natural brassiness or brightness or twangy quality to my own speaking or singing voice, so I have to go about applying it actively and being very conscious about it. So the strategies that I'm going to be suggesting today are just ones that I have found to be particularly effective for myself and for my students. In part one, I suggested the use of sort of a teasy, bratty, nay, 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 nay kind of quality to be able to draw this twang out. So today we're going to take a song that has kind of an inherently teasy attitude about it, and what we're going to first do is we're going to take that nay sound and we're going to neigh with that really exaggerated quality. We're going to neigh through the entire melody of the vocal phrase. And then we're going to reintroduce the lyrics, but we're going to retain that same really exaggerated nay, 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 nay kind of quality. And then what we'll do later on is we'll dial it down. So first we'll sing nay, 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 nay. Oh, I'm going to do what I want to, and I'm going to dye my hair blue. Now, personally, I would dial that down so that she sounds a little less like a child on a playground and a little more like a college student trying to exert her independence and try something bold and new. Oh, I'm gonna do what I want to, and I'm gonna dye my hair blue. This same strategy can be used when we need to sing a vocal phrase that's in a high chest mix or a belt, and we need to do so in a healthy and safe manner. We add a lot of twang. We start with the exaggerated twang quality, and then we bring that into the song lyrics, and then again, we can dial it down later on for a more performance-ready quality. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, 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 wow. I'm through accepting limits, 'cause someone says they're so. Where keep that same wah in there initially so that I can find that coordination and sing it in a healthier, brighter way. Another little exercise that I like to do is something that I call speak singing, which is not to be confused with Sprechgesang, in which the singer is not necessarily required to be on pitch. In this exercise, the singer first speaks through the words of the vocal phrase as clearly as possible. Then he or she speaks the words of the vocal phrase again, but on pitch, without worrying too much about sounding musical or following the composition perfectly in terms of the musical duration of the notes. In fact, I ask him or her to get out of singing mode altogether and to just focus on the clarity of the communication, clear speaking quality. Think of it as though you are talking but not shouting to someone across the room, and you need your every single word to be heard very clearly. I don't have a sunny disposition. I'm not known for being too amused. My demeanor's locked in one position. See my face? I'm enthused. Now to speak sing it on pitch, it's going to sound a little bit mechanical initially, but again, we're not trying to sound pretty here. We're just aiming for very, very clear speech-like qualities. I don't have a sunny disposition. I'm not known for being too amused. My demeanor's locked in one position. See my face, I'm enthused. So did you hear that? The twang quality just started to come out naturally. My vocal instrument just automatically adjusted itself in order to keep the lyrics very, very clear. Now again, to sound less robotic and a little more musical, we want to follow the composition a little more closely, and we want to add a little bit more emotion, a little bit more character. I don't have a sunny disposition, and I'm not known for being too amused. My demeanor's locked in one position. See my face, I'm enthused. I'm not changing much in terms of my voice quality or how I produce the sound. Again, all I'm really thinking about is sounding clear, following the composition in terms of the notes a little more closely, and adding a bit of character and some stylistic elements to it. We can try the same thing with another song. We'll first speak the words of the vocal phrase very, very clearly, and then we will speak sing it, speaking it on pitch without worrying about sounding really beautiful or sing-songy. And then we'll bring in some more musical elements later. 7 a.m. the usual morning lineup. Start on the chores and sweep till the floor's all clean. Polish and wax, do laundry and mop and shine up. Sweep again, and by then it's like 7:15. Now to speak sing it again, I'm not going to sound really beautiful. 7 a.m. the usual morning lineup. Start on the chores and sweep till the floor's all clean. Polish and wax, do laundry and mop and shine up. Sweep again, and by then it's like 7:15. So now we want to sing it a little closer to the composition and sound a little less robotic. 7 a.m. the usual morning lineup. Start on the chores and sweep till the floor's all clean. Polish and wax, do laundry and mop and shine up. Sweep again, and by then it's like 7:15. One other trick that I like to use when it comes to twang is to fully pronounce my R's at the end of R-colored syllables. I've discussed R-colored syllables in a separate video. In the last song that I sang, I had the words morning, start, chores, and floors, all of which contain these R-colored syllables, in which the vowels in the syllables are influenced and colored to some extent by the R's that follow them. Generally, in singing, we want to soften our R's without altogether eliminating them, so that they're less pronounced and that they intrude less on the vowel. Well, when we're working with twang, if we fully pronounce the R's in those R-colored syllables, it will actually increase the twang quality and keep our voices a little bit more speech-like. Also, in words containing the long I sound, it really helps to think very bright with the vowel. In the last song that I sang, I had the word shine and line up, both of which contain this long I sound. In speech, we would usually pronounce it more of an I, E. However, when we're working on building some brightness into our sounds, we may wish to lean that vowel to shade it slightly toward an A. Not all the way, shine up, because it would sound a little bit silly, but to go shine up, laundry and wax and shine up. It just keeps it a little bit brighter. And this brings me to another approach that I like to use with some of my students to elicit twang in their own singing. When children sing, especially in the musical theater genre, their singing is not generally characterized by the same kinds of affectations that the singing of adults generally is. So, taking a song that is typically sung by a child can be a very effective way at drawing out the natural twang in the voice. Now, the student doesn't need to go all the way to sounding like a child or a baby, but just thinking youthful and really bright and crystal clear with the diction can be helpful. And I know things now, many valuable things that I hadn't known before. Do not put your faith in a cape and a hood. They will not protect you the way that they should. And take extra care with strangers. Even flowers have their dangers, and though scary is exciting, nice is different than good. Or something like, no one cares for you a smidge when you're in an orphanage. It's a hard knock life. Oh, I'm getting nothing for Christmas. Mommy and Daddy are mad. I'm getting nothing for Christmas, 'cause I ain't been nothing but bad. These are just 3 of the ways in which I might apply twang to repertoire. In the first exercise, we took a really exaggerated version of twang, those experimental sounds, wah, 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 nay, 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 and we applied them to the melody of the vocal phrase. Then, when we reintroduced the lyrics, we attempted to keep that same exaggerated quality in there, and then we dial it down later on. That exercise will tend to elicit a more pronounced twang because it's a little bit more of a direct approach. I find it particularly effective for some singers. In the last 2 exercises that we talked about, they tend to elicit a more subtle twang, and they're a little bit more of an indirect approach, which also may work really well for certain singers. I would encourage you to play around with all of these approaches, these strategies, and see which works most effectively for you, for your own particular voice, for the style that you sing in, and for the song that you're working on. In part 3, I'm going to wrap up this series on vocal twang by going out with a bang. I'm going to take this most exaggerated version of twang and I'm going to apply it more to songs in the musical theater genre, and I'm going to show you how to use it to build a character and also to bring some qualities and some colors and textures into your voice that may not naturally be in your natural timbre. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope this video has been helpful, and I hope you'll stay tuned for part 3 of this series.